What's going on, Babylonians? It's me, Songs of Rage, back with another Outriders video to bring to you. And yes, just because the channel has tried to move on to a few of the games, we are still interested in Outriders, obviously being ambassadors, but also I've been trying to get to work on a little bit different content just to be able to actually bring to the channel, because I want to be able to bring Outriders, I want to bring the hype back, ready in time for World Slayer, whenever that will be, but obviously it will be this year, so it made sense for us to be able to revisit some of the builds that we've actually done in the past. I really wanted to be able to go back and just say, how good were these builds, because it was kind of like a one and done for me, and I just didn't feel like it did them justice, and I feel like the meta's gone a little bit stale with currently how things are, especially since obviously everyone's kind of settled into Firepower Technomancer, Anomaly Power Devastators, Anomaly Power Pyros, etc, etc. The list just goes on. So what I wanted to do was actually revisit some of our quirkier builds, some of our different builds that we actually put out to the masses, and actually put them into a speed running environment. So the idea with this one was to be able to take a version of the Instagib build that we actually did, well, quite a few months back. Obviously, so we'll have a look at the screenshot in just a second. But yeah, so to be able to take that and see how it did in the current speed running format as to how on speedrun.com, and actually put it up against some of the best times in the world and see how we get on. Now, you're going to see the footage in the background, you're going to see the run. Now, overall, I was relatively happy with this, but there was a time where I did actually lose my blighted round, so I know that I'm going to be able to actually revisit this to be able to do a faster time, and I'm determined to be able to get this under 7 minutes. Now, what does this time actually mean for me? Well, I managed to complete it in 7 minutes 13 seconds, which overall is very respectable when it comes to Colosseum. Colosseum is one of my more favourite kind of maps to be able to run, just because I like how everything's kind of funneled. It really does play into the Technomancer kind of playstyle, and it just gives you a lot of long range options to be able to take out a lot of the beast. And because there's not much in terms of range damage that's going to be coming in your way, you are able to deal with enemies in a relatively safe manner as well. The only real main thing that really gives me an issue is that first Broodmother fight, which is going to be after the gate opens up after you fight the behemoth, just because I find that the hits and the hit markers on that kind of enemy just don't seem very consistent. So I'll be aiming for the crit spot, and sometimes the bullets will actually just be going straight through, and sometimes that does mean that I actually will lose my rounds, as you'll have seen in the background as well. But obviously there is a really good backup weapon which I am planning to use, which uses Snow Squall and Grand Opening to be able to deal massive amounts of damage. The only problem with that is because the build actually does give 50% of an increase in magazine size, means that the one-shot rifle does actually go up to a two-shot rifle, which means that I'm not able to trigger Snow Squall and Grand Opening at the same time. It is two separate bullets for that, which, you know, is neither here or there, because I'm still able to actually consistently deal a lot of damage and obviously make sure I'm able to do the content to the best of my ability. So when it came to this run, obviously, you know, you'll be seeing the routes I was able to take. There was a couple of things where I can definitely sharpen up on, and that's just because I haven't really been playing Outriders as much recently, but also haven't really thought about it in the speedrunning kind of format. The only thing that I did actually take from this was the first gate where obviously the behemoth comes out. Make sure you run down there to be able to obviously maximise your time there, and because obviously if you fight where the behemoth actually spawns, you then have a long run to be able to get towards the gate. So it makes sense to be able to funnel all those enemies into that tight corridor, and also you're right there ready at the gate and waiting. So there will be a couple of times I will revisit this, I will try and actually beat my time, but this actually does put me 21st in the world. Now, granted, this doesn't sound amazing, especially when the leaderboard, which you're going to see in a second, actually goes up to 23 currently. Obviously me entering would be 24, but I will remind you that every single one of those entries that are currently on the leaderboard all use an assault rifle build, and obviously burst variants of the assault rifle, which means that the maximum damage potential, obviously that's the best DPS available for a Technomancer, which also means that this is the only build that isn't burst AR that's actually been entered onto the speedrun community, which means that I'm actually able to compete with some of the burst AR kind of runs. Now obviously I'm not able to compete with the likes of Dawson and FPS Shotty and all those kind of things, so obviously the top times are kind of out of reach. I will keep trying just to be able to make sure, but I do feel like it's going to take a lot to be able to beat those, and I do think burst ARs are the best way to be able to do that. But if I can break into the top 10, I would be happy, and I do think that it's potentially feasible. I mean, it's going to be difficult and it's going to take a long time, but I do think if I focus it down enough, if I can get my aim pretty much spot on. I do think potentially I could actually get into that kind of area, so I'll keep working away at that one. But I hope you're enjoying the run in the background. This is going to be the first of one of the series. Like I said, there will be a few other builds that I am planning to be able to revisit just to see how they actually compete in this current environment. And this won't be the only Technomancer one. I am planning to revisit the Critnomancer, and I'm also looking to see if I can do anything with the RPG Scrapnel side of things to be able to see if there's anything fun that I can actually do with that when it comes to a Technomancer. I do think the minigun is going to struggle though, because obviously the minigun just slows you down in the first place, so it's not really going to be viable. But the fact that you still get your sprint when you use the RPG, maybe there's something there. So I'll keep testing away, I'll keep plugging away, and if I can get any further up onto these leaderboards, or if I can do any different kind of runs, then I'll make sure that I do a video and be able to let you know. Now, my challenge to you is to be able to take this away. Now, I know a lot of you aren't speedrunners, which is absolutely fair enough. You know, this is a casual game. You know, you just complete the PvE, you just complete the runs, and that's it. And I get that. That's absolutely fair enough. And if that's obviously something that you enjoy, all the more power to you. But what I want to do is issue a challenge to you. I can't say I'm going to issue any rewards like in the past or anything like that, but I want to actually see a little bit of build diversity when it comes to the speedrun boards. I want to see other people actually submit some times to this, and all you need to do at the start is obviously the rules. I will direct you to the speedrun website, but is also to record your build just like I have done in the background. So basically go through each item that you currently have equipped, quick show your skills, quick show your class tree, and then do the run, and then upload that run to YouTube or something, and then submit that to Speedrun. And I want to see a lot of names and a lot of different build varieties up on that website. So my challenge to you is to be able to do something a little bit different, something that isn't meta, and put it up on that board and see how you do compared to the meta runs. Anyway, that's enough for the speaking segment from myself. I'm just going to let the video play out as normal in the background. But thank you all so much for watching. Thank you all so much for your support as always. And we will definitely be doing some more Outriders videos as they come out as well. So massive thank you to making it this far in the video. Massive thank you to watching all the way to the end. And massive thank you to the Babylonian family as always. Their support is greatly appreciated, and their names appear at the end of every single one of our videos. As always, keep yourself safe, keep yourselves well. I'll see you all on that next video.